Well, if you haven't already heard or you've just been living under a rock, um, Konami finally got rid of the priority in the TCG. Prior to OCG had already been having this ban or removal for about maybe 9 months to almost a year now. Um, but yeah, it really is really going to affect our meta for the most part. A lot of decks have been really hindered by it. Most noticeably, Dino Rabbit that just won a YCS not too long ago. Um, it's really crazy that they'd finally do it at really in an unannounced time. They really just kind of just put it out there. It's only been about a day or two now. Um, and me playtesting with a lot of my buddies, it's really gotten pretty annoying. A lot of cards are really back on the rise, like Bottomless Trap Hole, Compulsory Evacuation Device, Phoenix Wingwind Blast, a ton of cards, a lot of like one for ones and just reaction lashback cards that are really going to be up on the rise nowadays. Chain Disappearance is going to be a godsend for a lot of decks, and it's really going to ruin Dino Rabbit. It's really quite funny, but anyways, other than that, let me show you some of the examples of the cards that it does hinder, and some that are kind of unscathed by it. So check this out. All right. Well, I got my setup right here, as you can tell. All right, cards that it's really going to bother. Um, it's really quite broad, but I'm just going to show a few examples. Here's some right here. Let's see. Of course, Chaos Sorcerer. Yeah, that's really going to hurt you. What this new little change in rulings is, now the turn priority player, their priority has been removed. So they can no longer summon, but it's only on ignition effects. Note, ignition effects only. A lot of monsters have ignition effects, but a lot of them can only activate their effect at the certain amount, at the certain point when in the wording it would say when certain conditions are met, it can only activate. But Chaos Sorcerer has an ignition effect. When it's summoned, the priority will be taken away. So now it'll just be summoned in priority to pass to your opponent. Um, if they answer with a Bottomless Trap Hole, Phoenix Wingwind Blast, whatever, you don't get to activate his effect like you normally would to point and click remove a monster. That's one. Here's another big one that's really going to hurt, especially since I play this deck. Judgment Dragon, no longer just summon priority, pay 1,000, blow up. Another card that had probably been, was mainly the reason why it came back, because priority was really going to hinder him quite a bit. But I mean, it's good to see now that this card is super balanced. It's a lot more balanced than it was before, but BLS, just a ton of cards. Bryanak, Levier, Gungnir. I'm sure most of you probably never even summoned this, but I do a lot. Scrap Dragon. There's a ton more. Rabbit would be in here. A lot of different things. But here are some of the ones that aren't hindered by this and kind of just go underneath the radar. Like I said, ignition effects. Debris Dragon does not have an ignition effect. Whenever it's normal summoned and the normal summon isn't negated, it's only at that one point is when it can activate its effect. When it's summoned, normal summon, mind you. Its effect will still go off if you trap hole it or whatever, and it just disappears off the field. It'll still get its effect. Another cards that are just unscathed by this, Monarchs. Virtually every Monarch, because they can only activate their effect at the point of their summon. So they pretty much go unscathed by this. Mistworm, notably Trishula, would be here if it hadn't been banned. Black Rose Dragon. This stuff you can still go ahead and use. Celestia is practically like a Monarch. Cards like this, these are not ignition effects. These only activate when they've been summoned. So the priority affects them and nothing. It just does not affect them at all, which is really cool. A lot of these cards, so you'll probably see a lot more popularity in these, and in the future, which is going to be awesome. But mainly the Monarchs is probably going to be one of the bigger ones. Mistworm is really going to make a comeback now that Trishula's gone, and we might just see Black Rose go back down to 1. But other than that, that's pretty much the priority ruling. Cards that it ruins pretty much here. Tour Guide, on the other hand, though, pretty much didn't get the backhand with this priority ruling. It's like I said, it can only get hindered if it's an ignition effect, which pretty much means like these right here, you can activate their effect any point in time during the any of the main phases whenever you want, thus making it an ignition effect. Although these can only happen in the point of their summon. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy this informative video, and until next time, rate, comment, subscribe, and peace, guys.